This is a massive fishing vessel called the Atlantic Dawn, and I really wish that each of you could be on board a vessel like this. I wish everybody could go on board a vessel like this and just see one of the massive nets of fish that are brought up and just see the scale of fish that are fishing that is happening out there. When you see a net with 100 tons of fish come on board a vessel, it will change the way you look at things. And a vessel like this, which is a European vessel, which had heavy taxpayer subsidies, we're going to look at as a case study in class, is one of the reasons why fisheries are in the state they are today. I'm not saying that efficiency is a bad thing in fisheries, but we need to understand what we've been through in order to understand the best way to move forward. And this video is going to introduce you to a concept called Graham's Law. And here's just the bridge of the thing, so you can see how large this vessel is. And we're going to look at what's always happened so far since we've been able to utilize this kind of technology. And Graham's Law starts with a virgin fishery, a fishery which has not been fished. And so a boat will go out and catch a fish. Let's say it's frilled Venus shells. They'll go out and use a dredge and catch a few frilled Venus shells off of Papamoa Beach. And then, so the guy does pretty well. He's got a new truck and his flat screen TV, and that's 60 inches, and because he's done pretty well out of his Venus shell catch. And other people say, oh, I could do that as well. And so they invest some money in boats and go ahead and catch fish, and then the catch keeps going up until other boats enter the fishery and the catch per boat starts going down. That is that more boats enter the fishery, and then eventually they start to take enough so that they decrease the standing population out there. And so people have to work harder in order to catch the same amount. So you increase your fishing effort to maintain your catch until the catch keeps declining no matter what steps the fishers take. So no matter how much more you go fishing, even if you fish 24 hours a day, you're going to actually wind up catching less fish than you would have in maybe 4 or 5 hours during the initial phase of the fishery. And finally, the catch rates will decline drastically until the fishery collapses and fishers call for government assistance. That's the final step. So let's have a look at this graphically. So the first step, the virgin fishery, starts right here where there is no effort. So at this point it's zero effort. At this point it's high effort. At this point is low catch, and up down here is high catch. So you're going to have zero catch and zero effort, and that's a virgin fishery. You could say blue-eyed triple pins would be in a state of a virgin fishery. And one boat will produce a catch. So you got a year, here's the boat. There's a little bit of effort, one boat, and it produces some sort of catch. So you got a boat catching some fish, and like we said before, his neighbors see that he's doing really well, so they decide to invest in vessels themselves and come out and make a job for themselves and make a living feeding their family. So the more vessels means more effort and more catch goes up. Next thing that happens is more boats enter the fishery. Okay, the word spreads, and finally what you have is that the catch per boat or per effort starts to go down. So if this line was straight and it kept going up, that would mean that the catch was, for every effort, that little bit of effort that you added, for every vessel that goes out and starts fishing, they all catch the same amount. Now, but the problem is that after you deplete the fishery a little bit, then you have to fish a little harder to start catching the same amount. When there's lots of fish there, it's really easy. And you'll see that because the slope of this line changes, that means that the yield per boat, or the catch per effort, is going down. So just because the effort goes down, or the catch goes down, doesn't mean the effort will go down. In fact, some people will have to maintain the amount of fish that they catch because they've got mortgages and they've got families to feed, and also they just fish harder. They maintain their catch by increasing fishing effort. And at some point, this flatlines. That's the most fish you can keep catching before the catch stops going up. This would be called the maximum sustainable yield, which is a concept we'll look at very closely over the rest of the course. And that's what happens is, as you add more effort, you actually will start to decrease your catch. So even though you're fishing more, you're fishing harder, maybe you're fishing more gear, putting more hooks on your long line, or doing more trawls with your trawler, more tows with your trawler, you actually start to catch less fish, even though you're fishing harder. And that's because the population of fish, you've decreased that population, so there are less of them to find. And no matter what you do, no matter what fishers do, no matter what steps they take, the yield just keeps going down. Of course, that doesn't include the obvious step of decreasing the effort. But whatever extra effort is put in, that will still decrease the catch. And then eventually the catch rates start to decline very drastically. And why does that happen? Why do they happen? Why do we knowingly keep increasing fishing effort, even though we know that the catch is going down? I mean, scientific advice will tell you that through surveys and through measuring this catch, that the stocks are in trouble. But if you look at this, here is where this is from 2003. Okay, the cod stocks were likely to drop below their present record low level, and WWF, who is actually will tell you, they have a vested interest in painting a bleak picture in a way, but they said that the cod was on the brink of oblivion, with stocks months away from total collapse. The problem is that all these people who are fishing and have these jobs and pay taxes and have mortgages will say, if you cut us off, if you make us decrease our effort so we can't catch as much fish, we're all going to go bankrupt, and that's going to cost the country a lot of money. So what happened was that, in fact, when they got together, the governing body, when they got together, they actually ignored it, and they actually increased the amount of catch that was allowed for the next year. So the short-term politicians will often shoot the long-term in the foot. Okay, so let's review. So catch rates decline drastically, and then the final step is that fishers call for government assistance. So when you have a collapsed fishery, the problem is that these people who are out of jobs, who overinvested into the fishery, now need assistance from everybody, and it winds up costing the taxpayer a lot of money. So we're going to spend the rest of the term talking about how we can do better and the future of fisheries management, especially in the face of what is a rapidly increasing population and the pressures that that's going to put on the fisheries. But how can we possibly have some hope for the future and not repeat the mistakes of the past?